about some of my problems with dating and the queer ultimatum. What's up, beautiful humans? It's your girl, Amber. Let's have a healthy, open, honest conversation. I just wanted to grab the camera and talk about dating and some of the major issues that I've run into while dating. And I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect out here, so don't try to assume that in the comments. I promise. I'm a person that's very open to criticism, open to learn, and I try to learn from all of my experiences so that I can better myself and be the best person I can be, and then also to not put myself in the same situations all the time, right? That's what I work on. But oftentimes, I find myself running into a lot of the same issues. Now, this can be because of a lot of things, right? Women are not... Women, we can be difficult, but also sometimes we can show one way and then end up being another way, given circumstances and emotions and situations, all kinds of things, right? So I find myself more often running into that of like someone that presents as they get me, they understand me, they're on the same page as me, and then when time comes, something else blooms from them. I'm trying to say that in the nicest way possible, right? Anyways, I was watching the Queer Ultimatum and it brought up some of the things that I've been through, and I just felt like, let's talk about it, right? So I wanna talk about a couple things that I feel like have troubled me in dating that I saw show up in that show. And the first one is when you end up dating someone that is trying to change you and or has ulterior motives. And this is what I mean by this, and honestly, this can go for all types of people in relationships and situationships and whatever, right? For example, if I'm a person that's just like, hello, I love our vibe, I love spending time with you, but right now in my life, I can't get into anything serious because I'm really focused on family and my career, and I really only have a small amount of time to give to a situation. If that's cool with you, I'd love to keep vibing, but if you're looking for more, I'm just not that person at this current moment. You can say all that and that person pushes that opt-in button, but deep down inside, they're like, oh no, I'm gonna make this person my wife. I want to change this. I want to become their number one. I want to get more time from this person no matter what, right? Situations like that. But it can go for so many things, because I talk about these things with my friends that want an open relationship, or say that they're polyamorous, or that one person in the relationship wants a child and the other one doesn't, right? It's like, they're like, oh, okay, I can deal with this, in hopes to change that person. Which one side of it I think is really unfair, right? It's like when you go into something being like, I'm gonna change this person, but then on the other side of it, there's healthy growing and learning and growing together that can happen to make compromises happen. And that's a healthy situation. It's like for a child, right? If somebody goes into it not wanting a child and someone's just like, okay, you know what? I want to be with this person no matter what. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then having conversations with that person that you fall deeper and deeper in love with, and you're like, wow, actually, I want to be open to a child with you because our love is so deep, right? That's some healthy right there. But if you're going into something with ulterior motives to change that person that is actually that person, I think that's fucked up. And then later on, I'm made to feel guilty for the things that I am, or guilty for the way that I want things or that I feel. It sucks, right? And so I'm left being misunderstood. And I saw a lot of this topic throughout that whole show. Like right at the beginning, someone being like, I'm gonna press my person into this situation or whatever, right? And like some of that, it kind of works out. Sometimes people need a healthy, loving nudge. And then sometimes you're really just trying to change or manipulate someone, and then eventually that's not gonna work out in a good way. So the second thing I wanna talk about that I saw a lot of on the show is emotional immaturity. Because emotional maturity is so important to me. You wanna deal with someone that knows how to understand and control their emotions and just be grown and just be on the same page with. And I think this becomes an issue because you run into people that are grown, but it doesn't mean that they're emotionally grown. Right? They can have all this relationship experience, but not really know how to be in a relationship with another person. Like they've been in relationships, but they haven't gone well because that person doesn't know how to take someone else into account or compromise or listen. They're selfish minded. And I ran into this a lot, and this goes with number one of being misunderstood, right? Is because if we get into a situation, that person is never gonna understand what I'm saying because they're so stuck in their own feelings or their own emotions or what they think is true without being able to listen to someone else. And I really hate that because I feel like what ends up happening is someone makes me feel bad for how I feel, or they try to make me feel guilty for being upset with them, which is also gaslighting, but we'll get into that in another video in the future. But I saw this a lot in Queer Ultimatum. Like for example, it was Ozzy. Ozzy a lot of times wanted to run from her emotions. There's no emotional maturity at all there because she has not dealt with any of her stuff from the past, right? There's a lot of childhood trauma, there's a lot of adult trauma, and there's also a little bit of self-hate in that, right? Because there's moments where she's not able to be like, yo, I'm enough. I'm good enough how I am. I don't need my parents' approval. So therefore I'm choosing to be happy with who I am and how I'm living my life with or without my parents. And that's really necessary in order to do your own self-healing to get where you need to be. There's none of that whatsoever. And it's bottled up into this human that has a lot to deal with, and it's coming out to their partner as toxic, because those are the type of people that get into a relationship needing another person to fill them in order to be whole, and that is not healthy whatsoever. There was a lot of emotional immaturity in that, but I'm just gonna, Mildred, oh God. I can go on and on and on. Y'all can name some in the comments below. We know, we saw it. There was a lot going on in that show that is bringing these things out of me. You know what I mean? And the third thing that I want to talk about that I've gone through a lot and I saw also in the show is when people aren't able to focus on what's important, right? People love to focus on the wrong things, and the more you focus on the wrong things, the more you're missing out on the important things. Like if you're so stuck on one thing, right? You're not noticing anything that's going on over here. And I'm gonna use an example of things that I've been through before, right? It's like trying to talk to someone that is not emotionally mature. And y'all know I'm a Virgo, so I'm coming with facts, right? So as I'm explaining a situation, they get caught up on one word or one phrase and want to deter the whole conversation onto that one thing instead of allowing me to finish a point because they know that my point is going to prove them wrong. It's kind of like a defense mechanism, right? It's like, no, I wanna make this a big deal and make this the big point of the convo when it has nothing to do with the actual statement that I'm making, the actual facts that I'm saying, the actual mic drop that I'm dropping. It's so frustrating. It's just really hard because I'm a person that has learned to not allow my emotions to get riled up in those situations and to stay calm and like try to breathe through it and be like, I need you to let me finish. I need us to stay on topic so that we can get anywhere in this conversation. Because obviously you're not gonna get anywhere in the convo if someone's so stuck on one thing that you can't even get to the point that y'all were trying to make with each other or to find a resolution. An example of this in the show is Lexi. Now, I was team Lexi at the very, very beginning because I was trying to put myself in Mal's position, right? I'm like, okay, if I was on the show, I'd probably pick Lexi because she seemed really mature. But then when it came down to her being back in the house with Ray, all she kept talking about is what Vanessa was doing. Like over and over, like Vanessa's not even there. Vanessa wasn't even communicating with them at one point, but all she kept talking about is what somebody else was doing. Constantly obsessing over stuff she cannot control. And this is the thing. Y'all have to focus on things that you can control. The more that you focus on things you can't control, the more you lose yourself. Like for real, because she focused on what wasn't important so much that she let her boo slip away. Because it literally just started creating this like toxic, unhealthy environment that she's just like, why are we focused on this when I'm right here in front of you? And so the relationship went, you feel me? The one thing that I often try to communicate to my partners is like, out of love, out of respect, what I would love from you is if you do what I do to you, is that when you explain something to me or tell me something, I try to go sit in the audience and I try to see the whole situation from way above so that I can understand all the pieces of it, not just my own feelings, not just your own feelings, but everything that's included in it so I can understand the bigger picture and not just my emotions at that point. That's what I think is respectful in a situation, is if you really just try to pull yourself back and try to see the whole thing so that you're not just caught up in your own feelings or emotions at that point in time. I think that's really, really healthy because oftentimes if we're in our emotions, we're missing some key components that really kind of paint the picture and put it all together so that you can really understand not only your partner, but the situation in a whole. You know what I mean? Can I get a game into that? Like, I just really want, for once, that like a lot of the little things are made into big things. I just really think that we owe it to ourselves and our partners to just try to be the best that we can be. So long story short, if you watch Queer Ultimatum, don't be like them. Please don't be like them. Anyways, if you guys have anything to add to this, put it in the comments below, or anything to say about the show or topics from that show that you think I should do videos on in the future when it comes to queer relationships and how to deal with certain situations, please put it in the comments below because I'm definitely down to do that. I love you so much. Stay amazing, stay proud, and stay woke. Peace. I put that on my mama, on my hood. I love fly, I look good.